you touched on a few things, Carson, but I'd like to dig a little bit deeper with you. I mean, you have been sort of recognized for being a top 1% seller for quite some time. You've also been able to be a great storyteller when it comes to sales. You've published a number of fantastic books on sales from a storytelling perspective. Maybe you can share with some of the folks what you think are maybe 2 or 3 key insights or lessons for sellers who might be struggling, from your perspective, what they can do to utilize storytelling or maybe something else to push to be in the top 1%. Because I know you had a great year this year at Microsoft, and you've continued to be successful as well. But maybe you can share with the folks some of the secrets behind your top 1% continued success, as well as maybe some stories in there as well.
Thank you for that. And I think, I'm going to turn it to you as soon as I'm concluded, because you've had quite a meteoric rise yourself. So I think a lot of people would love to emulate what you've done with your career, with your branding, and how much value you've been able to add at multiple organizations. And I think what I always try to tell people is that the types of things that guys like you and me do, they're not unattainable. I get up every morning, and frankly, for the last several months, because I now work in the healthcare field, I've been in my basement, and it's been very, very minimal opportunity to get out, maybe even see anyone for that matter from a career perspective. And so, like you said, I think it's all the more critical to rely on those stories and being able to make that feel real and make that feel tangible for organizations. But the same fundamentals apply. And I think where it's very easy to get caught in a rut, because anytime you try something new, if it doesn't go exactly the way you feel that you want it to go, or that you think it's going to go, you're at a crossroads immediately. It's either I can continue to do this uncomfortable thing that I think might pay off, but it isn't yet, or I can go back to my comfortable way of mediocrity. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, choose that path, but I have always chosen the other path. And there's been a lot of times too where, I've had my ups and downs in my career. You don't have a 20-year career in sales and leadership and have everything always come up roses. But I will tell you, and here was a conversation I was actually having earlier today with another person that I respect in our business, is there's a certain element of strategic risk. And you've got to be able to, especially in a time like this, get outside of your comfort zone. And that's where the storytelling matters all the more, because first off, you've got to amplify and enhance your audience. If you're in front of, say, 5, 10 people at an organization as a norm before COVID, why not blow that up? One of my most prominent clients, I have hundreds of contacts, and I've spoken to probably half of them over the past year. And that wouldn't have been the norm previously. We typically gravitate toward a handful of people. So not only do you want your story to be sound, but you want to open up and attempt to make the connection point with as many of the influencers as humanly possible. Now, every organization, obviously they have a C-suite, but there's a lot of VPs, directors, people that are stakeholders, that are influencers, and they're well connected in their organization. It's your job to figure that out and who those people are. And ultimately, I think the stories, the beauty of stories is that it's the book keeps being written, because when I meet with somebody today, I'm able to talk about some of the amazing things that I've seen us do, even stuff that you and I did years ago. But I'm able to talk about things that are happening right now, what organizations are looking to do. And that's why it's also very important to connect internally, because you want to understand all of your resources. You want to understand the wealth of knowledge that exists. You want to understand the stories of what's possible. I've been in a lot of industries in my career, and that's been irrelevant. Sellers are sellers. And if you understand the core concepts of knowing how to get people in the boat with you, you understand the parameters of your role, the value that your company can bring, the resources that you're able to deliver to clients. If you understand all those things, it's ultimately your job to sell them on what's possible so that they understand, to tell that story of, hey, this is what's possible. I'd love to explore it with you. Let me know what resonates. Let me know what conversations you want to have, what your organization would benefit most from, and I'll bring the right people to the party. That's it. And that's how I view my role. I'm an orchestrator. I'm a broker of relationships. And I just try to add value for anybody that I come in contact with, colleagues, partners, and customers.
I love that, Carson. I think you've really hit on the importance of the art of possible. You know, if you always keep I think one of the biggest things I would tell salespeople is, and what I've noticed is the way that you frame things, the way that you create your attitude. If you keep things positive, if you keep yourself hoping, if you keep working and doing the right activities that pay off. Now, I had a sales rep that I was working with at Google who was struggling, and they were just struggling to get meetings. They were struggling to, show that they were making impact by closing deals, closing business. And, I would have one-on-ones with them on a regular basis. We would talk about the challenges that they were having. And the thing that I sort of landed on with them is that you need to keep doing the right activities. If you keep doing the right activities, eventually it will pay off. Eventually, if you continue to prospect, sending account-based marketing emails that are very custom tailored to each person that you research and send quality information with. If you keep, going on LinkedIn, like you're saying, social selling, which maybe something that Carson can talk about in a moment is you're obviously the social selling expert, as far as I know. You sort of branded at Microsoft and everywhere else. So it'd be great to hear how social selling can help you in COVID. But use social selling. We continue to smile and dial even as a field sales rep. It doesn't matter if it's an SDR type activity. Get on the phones, make calls. I tell all my salespeople you have to do that. It doesn't matter, how senior of a seller you are. You have to get on and make those cold calls as well. Do all these activities, and if you just stay positive and you continue to push through, stay motivated, eventually the right things will happen. You continue to do the right activities for a while. You start to get, worried, stressed. I'm not seeing the meetings. I'm not seeing the response. Eventually, I've been talking to him recently. He's been having 5-6 meetings a week. He has multiple deals that are on the table now. He was very thankful to say, hey, you just need to keep staying positive. During COVID, things are difficult. It's harder to get meetings. It's harder to close deals. It's harder to get business. But like I said, don't let COVID define your story. Don't let COVID say what kind of salesperson you are. Don't let COVID take away from the fact that what the right things are to do, the right activities are to do, the right sales things that need to happen to make yourself successful. You keep doing the right things, eventually they will pay off. And that's what I'm a strong believer in for my system.